Like
that's pretty
inappropriate.
If you want some apparel, I'm sure you can get it from Team Bagley. Maybe I'll wear it.
I'm still waiting on my Big Baller brand shoes. So as soon as I get those, then I'll go and buy.
You probably did order them. You probably did.
Hell no. Those things are so ugly, man. Although I will tell you this,
ones, didn't you?
I would not have minded like being able to have a pair, because I bet in like 25 years, if you just leave them in the box, at some point those are going to become a collector's item. Because Lamelo Ball, like
ones, those are big money.
Whatever they end up being, like one of the if LaMelo ends up being like a superstar,
he might
which he could be. Being able to say like I got the original Melos from the Big Baller brand in 25 years, those could be worth like $10,000.
If LaMelo gets his shot right, there's nothing he can't do on the court, and he's even guarding a little bit.
Except play
no,
defense.
No, if you watch him.
I've always said
he's trying, and like
that's the thing.
He's fully capable.
I've always said the issue with him defensively was he never once in his life had a coach that held him accountable on that end until he got to Australia. And when he got to Australia, I was one of those sickos that went out and watched every single second that he played in Australia, and you could see it from the first game through the last game. Like he was getting better.
Yep,
and he was. There were still like way too many moments. I swear, Jeff, it was unbelievable. I counted 5 times where he was like in weak side and was supposed to be like tagging a roller or supposed to be getting to the charge spot or something, and he's just staring off into space, like wiping the bottom of his shoes, wiping the bottom of his shoes.
No, he still does it.
Like he's watching a guy go dunk. He's supposed to be tagging this roll, man. He's watching a guy catch a lob and dunk it as he's like in the short corner wiping his shoes. Like, what are you doing, LaMelo?
He's better though. He honestly, I'll give Borrego, right, is the coach down there. And those players credit. And I think they really do like him. Like he is a fun-loving, smiling.
I'll tell you this much: if he is going to be so much fun for NBA guys to play with because of the level of his passing.
Oh.
Like he can make every pass. I don't say this lightly. Like with the ball in his hands, he's a basketball genius.
Yeah.
Like a legitimate basketball genius. The passes that he can make and the people that he could find.
And he's better than Lonzo in a way. Like I didn't think so. I liked Lonzo better because Lonzo to me was more of a winning player, like valued winning and making the right play. But here's the difference with LaMelo, and you'll know this more than anybody, is he's 6'7". He sees over everybody, and everything's no look, which I don't really love. It's fun to watch, but everything's flash. But bottom line is he's more athletic than Lonzo, and he's longer, and he sees everything. Lonzo sees everything too, but it's like almost like Lonzo gets rid of it too quickly in a way sometimes. Where LaMelo,
I was just going to say the difference is like where Lonzo is an elite passer is in transition, like the hit ahead stuff. The reason why it's so awesome watching him with Zion is it's just the way that like Zion can get out and run the floor, and you got the lobs and all the hit aheads and all that stuff. Lonzo is. I'm very, very high on Lonzo as like a great complementary piece. Yeah. I think if you have a secondary ball handler is good. The reason why I was so high on Tyrese Halliburton and why I was shocked that he fell to 12 is because to me he's basically a Lonzo clone and probably better than Lonzo at what he does. Like they're both really good positional and team defenders. They're both terrific secondary playmakers, meaning like you don't want them to initiate the offense every possession, but when the rotation comes and the ball gets to the weak side of the floor, he can run a ball screen, he can move the ball, he can find the right player, he can find a cutter, he can throw, he can do all those things. He knocks down open shots, right? He's got positional size, you can switch him, he can do all of these things. Like he is a great secondary option. If Lonzo Ball is like your third or fourth best player, playing next to someone that is an elite point guard, playing next to guys that can make threes, that you have a very, very good team. And that's why I'm really bullish on like the Pelicans moving forward.
I
love him as a piece.
I thought he'd be an elite point guard. I thought he'd be a primary guy. And that's what surprised me. But I think you're right. Like he's played in transition so much in his life. It's almost like it's taking time for him to learn how to play in the half court, where to me, LaMelo can play either. Like he's better in transition again, but he's fine. If you watch him in half court, Like,
he's unbelievable in pick and roll. Like he is
his handle is so
unbelievable
good.
in pick and rolls. Yes,
because his handle is great.
That's
his
the other big difference.
He leaves his feet. Like that's the one thing Lonzo doesn't really do. Is LaMelo can like leave his feet, which is a taboo in so many ways, and still make the majority of the time a play that is a easy play for another teammate. Like instead of a turnover, he'll make some, but like I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. This is way too much about the Ball family.
I don't know how we ended up on the Ball family, but
I have no idea.
I think that's another situation where it's very easy to dislike the patriarch of the family, while both of the kids seem like like LaMelo. The fame went to his head a little bit, but he's like overall seems like a pretty
I'd like to honestly. I would like to personally see LaMelo again and not apologize, because I was actually trying to help him in Lithuania, and they didn't listen to me with me trying to help him. And hey, smile, say more than one sentence when you're coming off the van for your first game. Like they were just doing what that idiot Alan Foster, their business manager, was telling them to do. And really, LeVar was just doing what Alan Foster told them to do, ultimately.
How did that work out?
Bigger issue when he was stealing money from him left and right.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that work out?
But all right, let's talk. I really like LaMelo. I always liked LaMelo. I just thought LaMelo had a lot of growing up to do, on the defensive end. And it wasn't his fault that he's jacking 3 after 3 after 3, and his dad's smiling and telling him to keep shooting it. Like I don't. In Lithuania, those players did not like playing with LaMelo Ball. They didn't like LiAngelo Ball because they were kids. Like LaMelo was 16. He shouldn't have been there. Like, and there was no accountability. That was the problem there. Is his father didn't make him accountable. His father just fed into all his bad habits at that point.